on, let's go, boy!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another new movie review, and this time we're talking about Bad Boys: Ride or Die, a movie that, gonna be real, I like. It's like my top Bad Boys movie behind the first movie.
I was just about to say that I really genuinely like this movie following the first one. The first one will forever be the best movie.
It's 1, 2, 3. No,
No,
1, 4, 3, 2. My bad. Sorry, I don't know why I said 2. I'm crack. It's the crack. All right, sorry.
It's one ride or die, kind of for life, and then two.
Yeah, two is at the bottom. And look, you heard our review of Bad Boys 2. We did a podcast on this stuff. It's a guilty pleasure for us, for sure. It is, but like when you get 3 and 4 after it, it's like, damn, 2 really is kind of the weakest week 1 in the grand scheme of things.
It has, I mean, it's the most off the wall and probably, I would say, up there at the time, off the wall insane movie in the franchise, but I like the way that they did it with this movie. Though I will give this for Martin Lawrence, as much as I just did not like how this franchise has been doing Martin, where they've always had to put him in like silly ass situations and all that. And I always felt that the era of camera mugging Martin was over with that movie Black Knight. Mm-hmm. We got a little bit of that in this movie.
So
it was just a tiny bit, but they dialed it back from how silly they had him in in previous movies.
So the director's Adil and Bilal. They did the third movie, directed that one. I think what makes, and it's the reason why I consistently say both these movies have no business being as good as it is, but I think what works is that they lean on the characters and them getting older and where they would realistically be at. So when we look at like Marcus, right? He's obviously gotten older. And we joke, me and you and even D, we joked about how Martin, put on mass in the third movie. But I like how the third movie kind of integrated that a little bit because, hey, his character got a little older. He got kids. His daughter got married. And
I was like, bro, he had kids in the first movie.
No, but I'm saying his daughter, like he's older now, and his daughter got married. And
yeah,
it's those kind of things that integrates when you get older. You will put on weight when you get older if you're not really taking care of yourself like that. Which that's the basics of Marcus's character. He's still doing what older people do. They eat shit they ain't supposed to fucking eat. They're doing the things they ain't supposed to do. And that when you get into this fourth movie, that's something that ties into this overarching plot. We're not going to spoil it, but the overarching plot of Bad Boys Ride or Die is essentially there was a lingering thing that happened with their police captain who died from the last movie that resulted in him having a connection with the drug cartels. Something happens where he's set up and Marcus and Mike got to figure out what the fuck is going on. And it also involves Mike's son being involved in the process. And that's pretty much the basis of it. And in the process, Marcus and Mike are kind of hitting that next stage in their lives and such. And it's that question of
they're going for one more run as cops.
Are they going? Yeah, one more run as cops kind of thing and stuff. And I think what makes it work is the situations that both characters deal with. They're basically dealing with, again, not spoiling it, but there is a situation that happens with both of them in their lives.
I say life. They deal with
life shit is basically hitting them like hard. And they're basically making decisions on whether, hey, can we really be out here doing reckless ass shit like we used to and shit, because we got people that are depending on us now,
or the good old, I have a family now.
Yeah, I got a family kind of thing and stuff. And it works especially for this plot. And there's a lot of full circle moments that calls back to, funny enough, we talked about the second movie. It's a lot of callbacks to the second movie.
Actually, it was a lot more callbacks to the first.
Yeah, first movie.
The first movie by far had the most callbacks.
Yeah, because the captain's connections with the drug cartels. Because funny enough, that's why I like this fourth movie. it's like one of those things you didn't think about until this fourth movie, where it's like there's a lot of drug cartels they're crossing paths with connection to the Miami PD.
You know, which if you think about the first movie was literally about a heist of stolen drugs that belonged to a cartel member who was already killed in prison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but because they got a guy on the inside, you know, who got them connected, and they went in there and they just stole it just so they can sell it off. Like, you know, that was that movie.
And the second movie, same to a degree, just in a different way.
Second movie was all about ecstasy because, you know, it was 2003.
Yeah, but it was still kind of connected to Miami PD in a way and all that stuff.
Oh, and the fact that Miami PD has a ton of leaks, as they've been saying since the first movie and second movie.
Yeah, and I think they did a really good job. The directors did a really good job. The writers mainly also did a good job of kind of connecting all that together, where you're like, it could easily have been some convoluted bullshit, right?
Could have been.
But it doesn't, because you're sitting back like, I think me and you were sitting back like, okay, that does make sense. Shit, they really did cover their bases on this. Like, okay, all right, cool, you got me.
And it's covered with just a layer of throwbackness of like referencing the first movie, because there was just so many references to the first movie. I'm like, thank you. You recognize greatness, and you're putting it on display here. I appreciate that.
You know, is there moments where it's kind of like, all right, movie, chill. Like, yes,
there is quite a few moments where I'm like, hey, chill, movie. What are we doing?
But like, past just the plot and stuff, like I said, I think the characters keep you engaged in the movie, because it's like the movie has that balance between the comedy and the dramatic moments, and it works. It works in that, like, it's not like two. It really kind of harkens back to one, with that balance between the comedy and the action and stuff, to where the stakes, when they hit, you believe it. It ain't just some jokey joke. They're going through some crazy stuff, and you don't feel the stakes that are involved and stuff, you know. Yeah. But I would say more than anything else, like, the action is great. The camera work is dope as shit. If you haven't been online, they did a behind the scenes of a moment with Mike with the gun, and the camera is like on him and such.
So yeah, and you heard me say it in the theater. It's a video game.
Yeah, it's a video game in the best way.
This movie literally turned into a video game.
And like, just looking at the behind the scenes of how they did it, it kind of reminded me of you remember that movie Hardcore Henry, where it was like first person shooter, first person and stuff. It's that type of work that they did and stuff. And when you look at the camera that they used to do it, it's like, oh, that's a dope ass fucking rig. Like, yo, like, because it's one of those things when you see it, especially when you see it in this film, and they do it a lot of times in this film, it's like, well, how the hell did they do that? Because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, GoPro, maybe, I don't know. And then you're looking at it's like, no, this is a huge ass fucking camera rig.
Yeah, they got a crazy camera rig. You know, there are videos out there that show how Hollywood movies or movies overseas shoot their action sequences, and sometimes it's not like a crazy giant jib or like a crazy camera rig. A lot of the times it's literally just handing the camera off to another person and another person and another person.
Big gimbal kind of thing.
Like, not even a gimbal. Like, they literally have to keep the camera moving, but it won't. But it has to be like in hand. So like, they could be literally handing off the camera. Like, it could be attached to something, but they're literally handing the camera off to the next person and the next person. For example, if you ever see them do like a chase scene with a car, and like, you got to get the camera from outside the car to inside the car, go like do a full 360, back out, and go around the back of the car. That's literally the camera going in, being handed off to somebody sitting in the back seat to shuffle the camera around. Take it through the freaking sunroof or the back window or somewhere, and hand it off to the next person.
It's kind of like
and they're literally just handing the cameras off. And there's a lot of shots that are like that in this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's actually similar to what they did in Raid 2.
Yeah,
that car chase sequence kind of thing. It's a lot of moving pieces, but you never feel like the camera work is all shaky. Yeah. And, oh God, I'm confused. It's like, no, they know. And like I said, that's just modern Hollywood. Some directors know, like, look, people don't want to see some shaky cam bullshit. They want to actually see the action and what happens. And sometimes it's as simple as pan the camera back so we can see them fighting.
This was on some. I'll be honest. This was on some ambulance.
Oh yeah, it was definitely ambulance. Shout out to Michael Bay. He cameos in this movie.
Yeah. Finally cameoed in his own movie.
But besides that, like I think even past that, the music is great. Again, it feels very Bad Boys 1. It's typical music, it's stuff.
We actually hear the Mark Mancina theme song for Bad Boys, like a little bit of an updated remix again, but still, it was nice to hear it.
There's lots of cameos in this movie. Looking at you, DJ Khaled.
DJ Khaled's back again.
It's probably the funniest moment that he has in this movie, and when you see it, you're like, okay, this works. It's great. I love it. Got you. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these characters that they come across, they don't overstay their welcome.
No, they don't.
Which I think is great. It's like they're here, they do their job, out. They're just done. I'm kind of curious and stuff. Like after watching this, I'm really wondering, do you think they might try for like one more just to get a fifth one, just to say, hey, we did 5?
Put it this way, they could do it. Again, I don't want to spoil anything.
Shout out to Reggie.
Well, the reviews have been out already about this movie. That, again, not spoiling nothing, but definitely watch out for Reggie when you see him in the movie. That's all I'm gonna say.
Reggie is a character that I'm gonna be real. That's a character that I never thought that they would ever revisit, because like when you watch Bad Boys 2, he just came across as a character like, oh, he's dating his daughter, and it's like, whatever, you don't give a shit.
Nah, but when he popped up in For Life, I was like, oh, they really keeping him around, because Marcus's daughter marries him.
Yeah.
And you find out what his job. You found out that not only they getting married, I'm like, oh, he's in the military. He's a Marine. Okay, all right.
But I didn't even think much of that. I just thought of it as he has a stable job and that was it. Because even in that movie, I wouldn't say he was barely in it, but he was just in it as
really just popped up in that movie and we didn't see much else.
Yeah, because it just felt like in the third movie, it just felt like a wink and a nod. This one is like, oh, he's actually a full-fledged character in this movie.
Like, let me just say, again, not spoiling anything. Reggie has probably the best character development that we've seen from this franchise. Like,
oh, it's great.
Like by far. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, it's great and surprising in ways that you did not. It's one of those things where you don't see it coming. You're like, okay.
Respect. Cool. Respect.
Cool. And even past, like I said, even past Reggie, even Mike's son. Yeah. I like the development that they did with him. And also it's kind of like how we talked about Jason Statham's character, Shaw, killing everybody. I'm like, how the fuck is he a good guy again? Like when did this happen?
He's literally just like a human wrecking ball. He just goes through people.
This movie, I'm glad, like it's okay. And it's not really a spoiler because you kind of expect that, especially after the end of the third movie, right? They didn't necessarily do a redemption arc with his character. It's like, no, that nigga is still bad. Like they are not making any bones about that shit. And I like that was a steady, overarching thing in this movie from beginning to end.
Like no face turn. There was no.
Yeah, ain't no. He's at the family barbecue. Like, yeah, and I'm like, really? Like,
yeah, this ain't Fast and Furious. You know what I'm saying? It's not the family barbecue.
Shaw out here eating barbecue chicken. I'm like, nigga, didn't you just kill people? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
ain't you responsible for breaking up this family in the first place? I'm sorry. For being an unkillable bad guy.
Sorry, if Han never got revived, I would have been like, bro, why are you eating barbecue with this family again? I don't get this. This doesn't make any sense.
You helped me get my kid back. Therefore, slate's clean.
I like how that's a steady thing in this movie where it's still like, yeah, you're helping out Marcus and Mike to solve their little mystery with their captain, but we're still keeping an eye on you because, yeah.
Nah, we don't know if we trust you yet.
And I like that because Mike is still trying to connect with his son. And that's a great thing because I thought it was just gonna be like, yeah, fuck you, dad, and then that,
Well, we did. We kind of did get some of that though.
Well, yeah, it's pretty consistent. I give the movie that. Again, good writing is keeping that consistency and energy up.
Also, we got some new people in this movie. Number one, what's her name? Tasha Smith.
Mm-hmm.
She is now Marcus's wife. And I remember going into this movie, I was like, wait a minute.
Larissa Randall.
Yeah, I asked. I was like, what happened to Teresa Randall? So come to find out,
What happened?
she's been going through it.
Ooh, personal shit.
Yeah, let's just say there's a video that surfaced on the internet about Teresa, and she again has been looking like she's been going through it.
I gotta be real. Tasha Smith being Marcus's wife, I think it works because it still keeps that same vibe that Larissa Randall playing his wife.
I mean, because
so the transition works.
She became such a background character, though. It's like the most screen time you actually seen with Teresa was the first movie.
She got kidnapped.
Yeah, in the second movie, she shows up, has a couple of lines of dialogue with.
Oh, Reggie, what are you doing?
Like with what's her face with Gabrielle Union's character, and then we don't see her anymore until like the end of the movie. Then the next one comes around, she's back one more time. Then you almost forgot that she was even there.
Yeah.
But now this time around, in fact, there was like tons of articles coming out of Hollywood that she would not be reviving, reprising her role.
See, I didn't know because I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, I looked it up. As soon as we came back from watching the movie, I was like, yo, where is Teresa Randall? And I'm like, what's the last thing she's been in besides this movie? And then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, praying for her.
I did enjoy also your girl from
I was also gonna mention shout out to Rhea Seehorn for being the new member to the Bad Boys franchise.
Judy Howard.
Yeah, she
Captain Howard's daughter.
Captain Howard's daughter.
Time out though. Now,
badass, by the way.
Badass. Now, did Captain Howard's daughter ever popped up previously as maybe as
you never seen Captain Howard's family, period.
He mentioned them.
He's mentioned them, but like you never saw them in the first movie, you never saw them in the second movie.
Third movie, I think third movie, his wife. It was
third movie, I think his wife, because remember he went to Mike was there for Captain Howard's kids baseball game or soccer game or something like that. Like when he got clipped. That was like the most we actually saw of Captain Howard's family. Now of course his family plays a much bigger role in this movie, and again, shout out to his daughter being in the movie, and again being a total badass. His granddaughter was actually pretty cool too.
Yeah, so I mean, just besides those characters and stuff, we get a couple of the people from the new squad from the third movie that pop back in here. It's not
just the main. I'm about to say the main two.
Yeah, the main two and stuff. Which again, Vanessa Hudgens and Alexandra Ludwig and stuff. Which those are the two that you really need because they were the ones that stood out from the previous squad and stuff. Which you need, and they do a pretty good job of being a supporting cast and such.
We get a return character from who hasn't been seen since the second movie, and that's our boy Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher comes back. We get your boy, Fletcher. I'm trying to think who was the other one that came back. Oh my god.
I'm trying to remember who else came back in this movie.
There was somebody else because we already said Michael Bay pops back in.
It was the dude from Africa, the meme.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, his name escapes me, but the meme guy, he popped up in the movie for like 2 seconds. I was like, perfect. Yeah. That's how you use internet famous people.
Yeah, but I think overall, this like I said, I think that these two directors.
Oh, that's what came back. The Haitians.
Yeah,
one of the Haitians from the second movie pops up.
Yeah, the Haitians pop back up again and stuff. But yeah, like I said, overall, I think being in the movie, seeing this, it was funny seeing how all of us were just reacting to just the highs and lows of this film. And I think it really the movie does a good job of just being in and out. It doesn't overstay its welcome, which is probably why we put 2 at the lowest, because 2 was always that movie that just felt like it just lingered.
It was just
and on.
Yeah, it was an over, like 2. I've always said that 2 was like an over the top continuation of the first movie.
Yeah, and it just overstayed its welcome. And with 3 and 4, they know, okay, you know what? Let's just get these people in and out of this movie, and that's it.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think, like I said, overall, go see this movie.
Definitely experiencing IMAX, please.
Yes, definitely go see this. And I've been digging the press rollout that Martin and Will have been doing for this and stuff, because it looks like they truly did have a lot of fun doing this movie. And yeah, like I said, I agree with you. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they say, you know what, let's try one more.
If they do one more, I'm anticipating a change of some sort.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be like a transition of sorts, kind of thing. So it would not shock me in the least. So, but yeah, anyways, that is it, and we will catch you guys later. Peace.